Hey everyone, Mike here with Prehistoric Magazine. Welcome back to another video. Now, it's October of 2024 and we have not gotten any information on Prehistoric Planet Season 3. Prehistoric Planet Season 1 came out in May of 22, May of 23 was Season 2, and obviously May of 24 has passed and we did not get a Season 3. If you've heard anything about Prehistoric Planet Season 3, please do write down in the comments section down below. Let us know. Your comments really keep this channel going. They are phenomenal. Quite a bit of you are a lot smarter than myself, more insightful, more calculated, just more thoughtful. I greatly appreciate the comments. I really enjoy reading them. They really keep me going and they really keep this channel alive. So again, I hope you'll take the time to write a comment down below at the end of this video. But what are our thoughts on the portrayal of theropods in Season 1 and Season 2 of Prehistoric Planet? Now, I really liked it. I have a couple complaints, but they are very minor. Most of the comments that I have regarding the portrayal of theropods is positive. I really enjoyed it. And, keep in mind that I write novels. I write prehistoric thrillers, books with teeth, claws, and people getting eaten. And I feature a lot of monsters in my books. And a lot of the monsters over the years have just been roaring mindlessly, bursting out of the trees, roaring like there's no tomorrow, and just screaming for all to hear. And, Prehistoric Planet has changed the way I've thought about writing my own books, that I want, if I'm writing about a dinosaur, if I'm making a creature up, a lot of times I do make animals up in my books, I want them to be as accurate as possible. And in seeing Season 1 and Season 2 of Prehistoric Planet, I realized that the filmmakers really wanted to make real animals. That's what Steven Spielberg set out to do with Jurassic Park, to make real believable animals and not storybook monsters. And when you look at the Nanuqsaurs hunting, the way that they plant that foot down carefully on the ground and you can barely hear it. That's a 2,000-pound animal. That's twice the size of a polar bear planting its foot down. You can barely hear it. And the magnificent David Attenborough saying each step brings them that much closer to success. That really hit home the idea of hunting is dangerous and you need to be calculated and you need to be wise about it. You can't just be blaring loudly for all to hear. First of all, if you're blaring loudly for all to hear, you're going to blow your cover and whatever prey you're hunting is probably going to flee and you're not going to eat. So you need to be quiet. You need to be stealthily. You need to be calculated about it. And seeing the Nanuqsaurs hunt really emphasized that. I really appreciated that scene. And it just seemed so organically believable. These were not storybook monsters. There was roars. They used the roars sparingly, but I did appreciate hearing some roars. And again, this just seems to be the most accurate portrayal of dinosaurs that we've ever seen. So I really like the idea of hunting is dangerous. And, which brings me to my next point, that, like David Attenborough said, the majority of hunts on Earth have failed. Usually the prey wins. And it's really cool to see the theropods have to be persistent and they can't give up. Their livelihoods depend on eating meat. If you're feeding your young and you do not succeed, you need to keep going again. So really appreciated that. I just love the way that they did it, so quiet, and they waited for their moment. And when their moment came, then they struck. The same can be said for the Tyrannosaur brothers hunting at night. They're hunting their prey, and they're just really moving quietly through the forest at night. It's dark. They're hiding in the shadows. They're concealing their bulk, and they're pouncing at the last second. Again, they're not roaring like storybook monsters. They're moving around that forest. 10-ton predators, 20,000-pound animals, moving around extremely quiet, barely making a sound, and pouncing at the right moment. That really hits home just the power of these animals and how wise they had to be in order to survive. Now, if you think about the Tarbosaurs, the way that they were portrayed, lounging around, sleeping, it's very reminiscent of male lions. They spend the majority of their day sleeping, and occasionally it may come up, or it's even the females that do the hunting. So we don't necessarily know in dinosaurs whether it was males or females that did the hunting or both, but I did enjoy the portrayal that, let's say you were dropped into the world of dinosaurs, late Cretaceous, Gobi Desert, and you happen to stumble upon a small pack of tarbosaurs. Chances are they may be sleeping. They may be living the most boring lifestyle of all. Tarbosaurus was one of the largest theropods that ever existed. I think people don't realize that. Again, one of the largest theropods ever existed. Obviously, T-Rex gets all the attention, Giganotosaurus, Spinosaurus, Carcharodontosaurus, but let's not forget about Tarbosaurus. Do not sleep on that animal. It's potentially a 6-ton, 12,000-pound predator. And if you were dropped into this late Cretaceous in the Gobi and spent a day there, chances are you may just see the Tarbosaurs sleeping, doing absolutely nothing, leading the most boring lifestyle you can imagine. I really respect Prehistoric Planet for portraying the animals in such a manner. Usually if you're selling dinosaurs to the public, you have to sell big cavernous roars bursting out of the foliage. And while I do like those scenes, don't get me wrong, think back to Disney's movie Dinosaur from 2000. You get the Parasaurolophus at the forest's edge, and the giant Carnotaurus comes bursting out of the foliage to track it down. I'm not going to say I don't love that scene. It's iconic. Whether or not it happened like that, who knows? If it was an ambush predator, yeah, it may have. But I really respect how Prehistoric Planet took the chance to show big predatory dinosaurs sleeping and being lazy, and then eventually getting up, because you got to do something. It's almost like you got to go to work, you got to get up, you got to earn your living. But I really respect what the filmmakers did in portraying them in such a manner. Now, think about the fact, if you were to go back in time and just plop yourself in any time period where there's a big theropod, what do you think we would catch it doing? Chances are it may be sleeping. In a course of a 24-hour day, obviously it's going to come to life, it's going to eat, but that's probably a small portion of its day. Probably a great portion of their days may have been lounging around doing absolutely nothing. They may have led the most boring lifestyle of all. Again, we don't know, just theories, but if you look at modern day animals, it's probably believable. But there's also the flip side of the equation, which is, the filmmakers could choose to portray that, if you're believing the 80-20 rule, which is maybe big predators like Tarbosaurus spent 80% of their time quietly sleeping and 20% of their time hunting. Well, in a portrayal like Prehistoric Planet, why can't we be dropped into that moment when they're in that 20%? They're right in the middle of the hunt. And we did get a little bit of that. Season 2, we saw some of the sauropods go down in the canyon. One of them breaks its neck or leg, I believe, and the tarbosaurs come in for the kill. Now, I would have liked to have seen more of the tarbosaurs pursuing them. I'm still hoping in season 3 that we may get a herd of sauropods on the move, and we get a small pack of predatory dinosaurs, large predatory dinosaurs pursuing that herd, stalking them, bothering them, harassing them, picking out one of the young, picking out one of the old. I really want to see something like that. It's a dream of mine to see something like that. And I don't think we've seen a scene like that in popular media. So I'm hoping to hear that. But enough from me. Really want to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. What did you think of the portrayal of theropods in Prehistoric Planet Season 1 and 2? Appreciate all the support. Greatly appreciate it. See you in the next video. Take care.